We are live from Boardman, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2022 Boardman Spartan Invitational. And we are going to feature here in our final portion of the day the Division II boys varsity and then girls varsity to close out our afternoon. DJ Yoakley, Richie Giuliano, and Quinn Pushkar. Yes, that Quinn Pushkar with us live from the bed of Donnie Riccatelli's truck.
I think I figured out the headset too.
Well, the news just keeps getting better there, Q.
Absolutely, and I got a track expert with me that can talk a little bit about cross country and track too.
You want to introduce them?
Yeah, it's Nick Rome. I'm going to let him take over for me and talk some cross country for you.
Nick Rome? Nick Rome?
Hey, how's it going?
Nick Rome, the father of Squatzilla.
Oh, you guys, I appreciate you guys covering this cross country. This is a first for you guys, but we appreciate the coverage.
It's groundbreaking, and it's only fitting that you're here, my friend. So talk to me about being the father of a cross country athlete. How challenging is it to watch him cross the finish line and go through what we've learned deemed the puke chute?
No, it's a great sport. All three of my kids ran. Cade ran for a couple years. He actually stepped away from it as a sophomore, and this is the first year that Cammy, aka Swatzilla, is not running. She's playing soccer. She wanted to go back to that for a year before she graduated. So I just have one daughter running at the moment. But it's a great sport. Sports in general teach you all kinds of lessons. But this one in general, you have to have some stamina. You got to be fast. You got to be physically tough, mentally tough. You'll watch these kids out there running, and half of them look like they're about to die, but they just dig down deep and finish this race. Boardman Spartan is notoriously a difficult course. We've had many mishaps on this course. Carly Hall is a junior. She passed out here and did not finish the race when she was supposed to go to state as a junior. We've had that happen to a few of our girls runners here because it's always warm. It's a long course. It's kind of a rugged course. And for whatever reason, the girls find it to be one of the more tough courses that they run. The field here this week is packed, especially for Division II. I can't really speak for Division I. I don't know much about them, but the Division II girls has 8 of the top 15 teams in the state running in it today. And in addition to teams, you have some fantastic individual runners. You'll have Marlington, where Bella Graham, she'll be out in front for sure. Her brother graduated last year. He was always a front runner. And then I know the Division III girls, they have a good runner at McDonald. She'll be out in front of that pack as well. And then the Division II boys, you have a few of the state ranked teams there. Marlington, they're like a pack of wolves out there running. Those boys, they lost one of the best runners in the state, and they're still ranked number 1 in the state at the moment. And then you have Salem. I think they're sitting at like 17, 18. Minerva, they're ranked in the top 20 as well, for the local teams. So it should be a pretty fun race to watch and see who finishes here.
All right, since you have 3 kids that competed in this sport, what do they compare the sport to anything else? Is it comparable to any of the major sports that we see on a regular basis on the network?
No, I don't think so. It's cross country is just such not that other sports aren't difficult. You have to obviously be skilled at basketball, but every other sport you can be really good at one thing, and play a lot. Like in basketball, if you're a good defender and you rebound well, you're going to get time. If you're super fast like Riley Hutton and you can score and jump and cross country, you have to. I don't want to say that's probably saying this the wrong way when I say you're not skilled, but you got to just be tough. You run in the rain, you run in the snow, you run in the mud. Some of the conditions of these courses are just tough, and you can't stop. There's no timeouts. All the kids wear these shirts and they'll say on the top of them, "My sport is your sports. what to say? My sport is your sport, punishment. So like if you do something wrong in basketball, you do something wrong in football. What your coach make you do? They make you run. Cross country, that is what you do. And you have to do it. But it's also a great sport. They're very supportive of each other. Fans are great with not just their teams, but the other teams. There's not some of the behavior that you see at some of the other sporting events, where people kind of get a little competitive and get after each other. Cross country is just a good environment. They're very supportive of their teammates and the other teams as well.
Obviously, it's incredible to have you here, Nick. Such a supporter of YSN. We want to thank you for that. And thank you for giving us a little insight into the mind of a cross-country dad, because I got to be honest with you, I would never be able to do it. I've told Richie about 60 times today. There's no chance.
Yeah, you got to stay on your feet and move around a lot when you're a spectator for this sport. I got my little spots here that I know of. I've been to Boardman now for, oh my God, this is probably 7 years in a row to this race. So I'm gonna give this back to Quinn and get ready to watch the G run. But I appreciate you having me.
Enjoy it, man. We'll see you real soon.
Thank you.
There he goes, Nick Rome, one of our favorites, a legend in the Salem community, one of my favorite guys I hang out with after a basketball game, and obviously he's got some time here to watch his kid run around this course. Richie, we talked about it. This is a very special course, very special day for Boardman, and it just gets more special as the day keeps going.
And he was dead on with all of his predictions. I mean, he talked about Marlington being a juggernaut. The first 4 runners to turn the corner here at the 1K were Marlington Dukes.
So I figured out where the sound's coming from.
Yeah, I think it's Quinn. Now, but just again, DJ, another packed field. I mean, look at the size of this race. It's never ending around this bend.
Yeah, this is wild. This is Division 3, man. No, I'm sorry. This is Division 2.
Yeah, D2. Truly just wild. Great competitive field. A lot of parents out. A lot of supporters. This is just nuts. Look at the hair here.
Yeah, baby. I love it.
That is amazing. How do you even run with that? That's got to add an extra 10 pounds.
Well, nobody's going to ask me, that's for sure. Here comes the hill. I love that Quinn coined it.
Yeah, Quinn's got the trademark on the hill there.
Where's our thing? We got to get that on there. There it is. The hill.
It's like infamous here at Boardman. There's 2 hills. One goes up, one goes down. I think the runners prefer this one a lot better.
I would imagine. Although, can you imagine if somebody fell right now?
Yeah, that would cause a lot of bodies on the ground. That would just be a turnover effect. Just one after the other, just boom, boom, boom.
You ever watch the Tour de France and it happens?
Yeah.
That is bad news. You're almost watching for it to happen the entire time.
Yeah.
Nick Garcia-Whitco from Hawken among the leaders.
2 Marlington leaders.
Just over 5 laps.
And if you're tuned in and you're asking yourself, what are we watching right now? It's the 2022 Boardman Spartan Invitational. First ever time cross country has been on local streaming here in Northeast Ohio that I'm knowledgeable about, especially here in Youngstown. I know that's a fact. And hopefully this will be an annual occurrence for us to be able to cover this awesome meet with such great people and great leaders that, literally we talked to Dave Pavlansky 364 days a year planning this in some capacity.
Yeah, UCY too, over 7,000 people are here today at Boardman High School and Boardman Middle School. I mean, the bus is just going rows on and on where I'm at the 1K turn. So, it's a great event for all of Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. And like Donnie was talking about, it brings a lot of money to the community when you think about it, because all these parents are going to need a place to go to eat. You got a million options. You got the mall right down the street. So it does a lot for the community of Boardman. It does a lot for the athletic department, raising close to $100,000. So all around, just positives.
And nowadays, you can't be too thankful for opportunities like this. I mean, they talked about COVID and how tough it was for the sport and the community when COVID struck, and now you've got everybody kind of back together to the point where the people that ran at 9 o'clock don't want to leave. They're still here. Packed. The parking lot's still packed, as you said, Rich.
Yeah, God bless them. It's a hot day. Better brought their sunscreen.
Well, they got a Handles right down the road, so
That sounds great right now, not going to lie.
a little grape ice cream. Maybe we'll hit that on the way back.
Grape, you cannot go to Handles and get grape.
Have you ever had it?
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, but
Oh wow! Now I'm offended.
I mean, come on. Ask somebody when they cross the line what they're going to get if they go to Handles. I guarantee you none of them say grape.
Grape ice cream.
Nobody is going to say grape.
I think you'd be surprised.
Give them some options.
Swing this around. Hang on.
5 middle school girls, 2 and 3. In fifth, Diamond. Fourth, Tuscarora Sally. Third, Alliance Marling. Maplewood runner-up, and Minerva in first place. Come get your awards here at the awards area.
Back.
Good look, Rich.
Once again, Diamond, Tuscarora's.
There are. I'm trying to see how many
Minerva. Marling.
state champions. Because Donnie said there were state champions behind us. They have their like silhouette, and there's at least 40 of them.
I'll
I'm
tell
gonna
you,
say 50.
that girl we saw race Division 3 is going to be a state champion.
Yeah, she's the third best in the country. She could be state champion in 47 states.
She was phenomenal. I mean, just never took a single break. Even when she went up the hill, she was sprinting up the hill.
That's crazy.
Something we have not seen a whole lot of today. There's the lead pack there. Try and get this pole out of your way. It usually breaks up. You know, that second time around where you get close to 2K turn.
I'm still enamored by the people that kind of track along the way, like a parent or a brother or a sister. They're kind of just tracking this and doing a little. They're not running. They're not really jogging. They're just kind of getting there, and they'll go from one spot to the next, and then all of a sudden they're at the finish line.
Ask Quinn about the guy he met in the parking lot. Yes.
I'd love to, but I think he's asleep.
Yeah, the nice gentleman wearing red somewhere decided to take a corner a little bit too tight, and he met my shoulder
What?
pretty nicely. Yeah, he came running around the corner trying to take the edge and didn't see me. And I didn't see him.
Are you okay, Quinn?
Oh, I'm great.
Okay, there's medical assistance here if you need it.
Great.
Just
Back
don't,
in my day, I was a
don't
linebacker.
go down. Don't go to the lava.
No, that's not going to happen.
As Richie said, you'll disintegrate.
Marlington's got 3 of the top 4 runners. You're going to see him coming into your screen here in just a second. Hampton is the other school. I've never heard of Hampton.
Hampton sounds like a college.
Dude from Hampton's in first place.
College, I believe it's in New York. Obviously not running here.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, Marlington's about to beat Hampton.
The Dukes.
Number 916's right on his left hip.
All right, Quinn, you're getting muted.
I already am muted. I muted myself.
Wrong again, son. I got the.
Very good. This is like Yeagley here.
This is the jams right here. This is what you run to.
It's called Sandstorm
By
Darude.
Darude. This was hot my senior year of high school.
See, that's what he should have been playing.
Yeah.
Not
Queen.
Oh Gaga. How about the Orange Lions making an appearance here today? Gotta love it.
I love seeing orange.
Dude, their uniforms are sick.
Are they?
Yeah, they got orange down the back. They're all black. Their logo's sweet. It's the Oregon O with
No. I was told that it's an Oregon O and an Oakley O combined.
Oh.
Yeah. You should know you were wearing the helmet the other day.
I know.
That helmet's so sharp.
Yeah, they just got good colors, to be honest. They got Nike uniforms with their O logo on the shorts.
It's hard to go against black and orange.
800 meters to go.
Red and blue is my favorite, but black and orange is close second.
And here's my favorite name of the day, the Chippewa Chips.
Wow.
Saw that on the tent walking over to the car. The Chippewa Chips.
I wonder if they had to change their name.
Possibly. You know, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like
Say that again, Rich. I lost you.
it looks like a lot of these runners have like soccer cleats on.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of what we were talking about earlier. You got some traditional like tennis shoes, and then you got some that have like soccer cleats almost.
I'm gonna spin mine. So you good? Are we on somewhere where I can move it and not make somebody sick?
You good?
Here we go.
All right, let's direct our attention to the home stretch. We have our leader. That looks like Collins Cernansky from Arlington, your 2022 Division II Boys Individual Champ at the Spartan Invitational. Collins Cernansky, followed by teammates Mike Nichols, Nash Fighter, Arlington, 1, 2, 3. At the Spartan Invitational.
Did you hear that?
16,
1, 2, and 3.
Marlington goes 1, 2, 3.
Kid from Hampton's coming in there.
Uh-oh. He stopped. And he kicks it into gear and gets across the finish line. Oh, my goodness. He stopped right before the finish line and was about to get past. I never thought I'd ever see that.
Little stop and go route. I like it.
That was interesting. If I saw the, I mean, if I'm doing this and I'm not, oh, look at this. Blazing across the finish line. If I was going to do this, the finish line would be the one thing that inspired me to, listen, if I'm going, I'm finishing.
Yeah, that's probably the only part of the course I'm looking at. Man. Also, I talked about this earlier, DJ. How high do you think that banner is?
That banner's not high at all.
These runners have to duck underneath it. Like somebody's going to come flying through there and just boom. The little giants.
You know how tempting it would be to just hit that banner on the way through, like Michigan does? This is nuts. I'm gonna turn this because I want to see the faces as they come down the stretch here. I want to show you guys, like, this is.
Yeah, that's a great shot to watch them come down that final stretch. Trying to pour it all out.
Look how fast this young man's coming. Let's turn the jets on. One thing that you can see at the finish line is some of the camaraderie, not even from the same school, but some of these guys probably run with each other and have done so for a long time.
Making this long bend, and one was struggling, and the other guy picked him up and said, "Let's go, come on, we got to finish this strong." So, I mean, they're helping each other out, even though they're not on the same team. And like we talked about, this sport, it's so positive compared to the other ones. Like, we do football on Friday nights, and watching that, you're competing against your opponent, and you want to pound your opponent. But this is the complete opposite. You want to help your opponent here. It's actually kind of refreshing to watch.
Yeah, and now you're seeing some of these guys that are trying to turn up the jets a little bit, and they're just out of legs. They get to the finish line, and they have nothing left.
TJ, it seems like they're constantly pulling that purple carpet, so kids aren't tripping over it.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect the fact that they have this carpet here, but I'm wondering why they just don't have like one long piece. You know,
That's what I'm thinking. What is it really doing?
I'm not sure. I think it just separates it. So if people crash, it's not into the grass. But I'm not sure. I don't know. To be honest with you, that'd be a Donald Riccatelli question.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask him if he hops on. I think it'd actually be better to hit the grass than that carpet.
We've seen the carpet trip up a bunch of people today.
Yeah, it's like it's been an enemy of everybody.
Do you notice most of these kids? Oh, I should say most of them. A good amount of them kind of run with their teammates as they probably do during practice. You know what I mean? They kind of have each other set the pace.
Yeah, they're gonna try and stay on that same pace. Look for a negative split in the end with some encouragement of your teammate.
With this one kind of dwindling towards the finale, we will have one more race for you, the Division II girls varsity, coming up in just a few minutes. And that'll be our final race today. Richie, overall, I mean, I know we still got a whole race to go, but overall, your impressions on the first ever cross country meet on YSN?
I think it's a lot tougher than a lot of people think, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to do this. Just consistently running every single day. You got to train your body to be conditioned. You got to be mentally tough. It's hot. You got to be able to put down a lot of water and a lot of fluids so you're not cramping and you're not killing your body. But overall, I mean, I'm impressed by some of these runners that we've had out today. You know, I think we got spoiled coming out for our first because we've seen the best talent in the state of Ohio with Donnie coming on and Coach Pav coming on and talking. And, you know, everybody just rattled the talent that comes out here to the Spartan Invitational every single year. We just saw the number 3 runner in the country. So we've kind of been spoiled in our first ever track meet and cross country event, but it's been fun.
It certainly has been. I've learned not only a thing or two, but I've learned probably 10 things that I didn't know about cross country. I mean, I dated a girl that did cross country in high school, and I still didn't go. You know, that's the kind of boyfriend I was. But it was one of those things that it just never interested me. And then when you sit down with some of these people that are so passionate about the sport, the Donnie Riccatellis, the Rick Seiperts, the Dave Pavlanskis, and you talk to them, you can't help but get a little bit excited. Now we've got a little bit of a baseline of what to expect and you know how to make this better for next year.
I think definitely we could add a couple more cameras. I think that'd be great to get the woods aspect of it. Maybe behind the baseball field here because it's a big turn coming up this hill. But, you know, overall, if you could add more cameras and get some, you know, quality announcers like we had on to start this race that really knew what they were talking about, knew the individuals that were running on a personal basis and, you know, how they've been over their career, I think it would be a tremendous broadcasting day.
This race wrapping up. few of the gentlemen at the back finishing strong. And then, of course, we will have the D2 girls once again here on YSN. I'm going to hand over the mics to two guys that know what they're talking about while I go to use the restroom. I'll be back in just a minute.
Microphone check 1, 2, check a check.
You're still on.
I'm still on. I know.
I'm going to make sure.
You're live, man.
Live and direct, right?
You're live in the yo.
In the yo. What do you think so far, boys?
You know, like I was just telling DJ, very tough mentally, I think, on a lot of these athletes, and they don't give enough credit for what they're doing. This is a very difficult course. I think we've seen it today, especially around this hill. I've been able to witness kind of the downfall of a lot of runners' days here at this tough hill and the slope where they've had to bring over the medical cart to take them off because they weren't able to finish. But
Yeah,
I think it's tough.
It really is. And I tell you what, if you've seen some of these kids when they cross this finish line, I mean, they literally pour everything they have into this race, and my God, they have some wobbly legs when they leave. You know, it's kind of hard to keep them moving. You try to tell them that they're going to be okay. They don't want to hear it. So they're pretty beat up by the time this race is over. But man, they pour it all out there.
And you know what else is difficult? A lot of these schools are traveling from Cleveland, so you're taking an hour and a half bus ride.
Yeah.
You get the bus, you run a little bit, you stretch your legs out, maybe get a mile in or so, and then you're running for 15 minutes, and then you're back on the bus. So I think it's tough to flip that switch a little bit physically.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you know, especially as hot as it has gotten today, you know, who wants to go sit on a warm bus too going back, you know?
Hey.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, this has been such an incredible day. I mean, YSN's just top notch for covering this today. I mean, these kids just give it all. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, they're going to be able to go back and, you know, watch this on any social media platform. So I think it'll be cool for the runners to go out there and kind of watch their own film for once, right?
Most definitely. I mean, they never get video of themselves unless their parents are, you know, taping them on their phones at the finish line. You know, there's nobody getting checked out for the entire race. So I'm gonna have Coach Seiper join us as well. So you know, it's one of those things where, you know, last race of the day. It's been a long day. You know, a very grueling day for some of these kids. But I mean, for what we've been able to do today to shine a spotlight on these top runners from this area, it's pretty awesome.
It's an extended area, actually.
Yeah.
We got 5 states represented today, so it's pretty cool to see some of the top talent in the areas from, like I said, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, you know, Ohio, PA. I mean, great.
And Richie, like Coach has been saying, you know, in any given moment today, we've probably seen between 50 and 75 Division I college athletes out on this course today.
Yeah, top tier. Yeah, absolutely. I know people really don't recognize exactly how good Ohio is at track and field. I mean, people always say you got to go south for speed, but Abby Steiner from Dublin Kaufman High School in Columbus setting NCAA and national records there. Olympic gold medalist from North Olmsted in the pole vault. I mean, it's fantastic. And if you really follow it with the Olympic trials, there's all kinds of. I mean, I remember coaching against a lot of the kids that are in those trials right now. The Avini girl from Geneva. I mean, a lot of good runners across the board here.
And folks that are watching at home, I mean, if you could just see the magnitude of the amount of runners that are in each race, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of runners taking on that first hill, that first challenge of the day from the start. So we're going to switch it over to Richie, I believe, coming up here, if I do this right.
Yeah, as long as those athletes don't burn it all up on that first 600 there, you got to work your position around the baseball field, get up that hill, and then get around that turn up there. And it's all downhill for about a solid 1,000 meters there. So that's where you really got to make your money up there after the baseball field.
And Coach Richie was talking about, you know, where he saw a lot of the races end for some of these kids were that hill by the baseball fields. Richie, elaborate a little bit more on that, what you've seen today.
Well, I mean, again, a lot of kids, they think you have to get out here. I mean, you do have to position yourself nicely coming out of the gate, but you also have to make sure you have enough in you to make it around twice. Yeah. It is a challenging course, but you have to race in certain spots, and then you have to make your money and fly forward in other positions there.
Yeah.
Coming back down the hill, you have a very, very long stretch where it's all downhill with just a few turns there. So if you're trying to race, you got to race to the woods and then position yourself nicely, because it's really difficult to make up grounds in the woods there.
Absolutely is. Go ahead, Richie.
This is the stretch right here that I've been seeing all day where, there's been a lot of separation, because when you look at this stretch, it's flat ground until you get to the downhill stretch where Quinn's at. So there's been a lot of separation right here for the last 100 yards or so when they make the turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, though, that from watching this race, watching most of these races today, from where the leader is to where the last person coming in, it's almost like a snake. There's really not a ton of separation from one place to the next place to the next place, but there's a huge gap between first and last. So it's like they start out in that massive pack, and then it just starts thinning out right where you're at there because of that hill, and then because of the hill where Quinn's going to be coming up at.
I do got to give credit, though, to a lot of these runners, mentally being able to finish the race. You talked about the separation from first to last, and we've seen some girls events start before the boys even finish, but just the ability to, not give up, never quit, and be able to cross the finish line has been impressive to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, looks
Soon
like we got
we're going to catch them pretty soon here. About 3:44. We should see some bodies. There they are. Oh, nope. It's a fan. Yeah.
We apologize, guys. The DJ has turned up the music. He's getting excited about the last race.
You got to make a move coming around this tree. They're heading to the tree right now.
Yeah.
As soon as you come, so where that cart is right now, you got to make your move right there. That's when you start making money here.
Yeah. And if the kids understand, utilizing that hill, using the hill to their advantage, it's pretty really advantageous for them to catch momentum going down that hill where Quinn's going to be shooting pretty soon here.
This is the YSN covering area now, Donnie. When you look at it, almost every school you're pretty familiar with now. I mean, deep front was a lot of the big dogs up towards the Cleveland area and in Pennsylvania, along with Boardman. But, now it's a lot of familiar faces around this area.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is Minerva one of our schools?
No.
Minerva easily should be one of our schools, especially with, they're the defending state champion in the girls cross country. And, you have Marlington that's been running out here. It needs to be a YSN school. And Woodbridge is one of those top schools. And Walsh Jesuit. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If you're not part of a YSN school right now, then you either don't know the capabilities of YSN or you live under a rock, because this amount of coverage, what they can do, swimming, track, cross country, little league baseball, little league softball, football, baseball, volleyball, I don't think there's any lacrosse yet or whatever, but I mean, my goodness, it's whatever you want covered. We're going to try our best to cover it. And it's one of those things where more schools need to jump on board, because they're really missing out on some great coverage for these kids.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I want to just clarify for people is the biggest argument I get is, well, we take away gate from your I promise you, that's not the case. If people aren't coming, it's because they weren't coming in the first place. There are so many instances to where people actually tell us in private, because they don't want this to go out to the masses, but I will tell you and break it here, we actually hype their teams up to where more people want to go watch that team because they've seen them. They've seen the interviews. They've seen the games on YSN. So if that's your biggest hope, it's time to kind of look past that, because it's not an excuse anymore.
And not only that, though, Deej, you got to figure there's so many people in the stands that are at a live game watching YSN as well, because they want to hear the commentating and everything else. I mean, I can't figure out why people want to hear me, but Richie and Deej, you guys are top notch. I know why they want to hear you guys, but.
And I'll talk about it a little bit. Like, if you guys were able to see the crowd at Cheney and Canfield last night, like just the popularity of those two schools now,
Yeah.
like because of what YSN has done. Like we have player profiles, coaches interviews every week with both Cheney and Canfield with their respective sponsors. And like without us promoting them, nobody would know that, Cheney, who's the number 3 team in Region 9, and Canfield, who's still number 2 for some reason, even after the loss. Like those are two of the best teams in the valley in our area. But
Absolutely.
it shows that a lot of people have gained respect for both programs and are now familiar with both programs because of the interviews that have been done, the games, the live streams, and all the articles we write up.
Yeah, especially in today's day and age with so much social media out there, you're not seeing a platform still like YSN. Even, even when you're talking about, the game of the weeks and all that stuff, there's no, you still don't know any of these kids until you start watching those player profiles and you start hearing, announcers from YSN talking about these kids. It's just such a positive thing for this valley, and it needs to be spread so much more thin than that with coverage all around Ohio in PA.
66 schools and counting, and it's all but one Ashtabula County school is signed on and all aboard, and we've got every Columbiana County school. We have, I believe, every Mahoning County school, and I believe we have every Trumbull County school now. So it really has taken off in the 6 seasons that we've had of YSN, and since 2017. Now people understand what we're trying to do, and now the mission begins because, we're established.
Right. I mean, I always say it takes 5 years to figure out who you are. And then, you basically go ahead and revise what,
you
reevaluate, revise what you're doing that makes everything successful. And you guys are way, way headed in the right direction.
Well,
I love being a part of you guys. And I love that, that we get to talk about the success of these athletes.
Yeah.
And there's so many businesses that support you and support these athletes as well. It's been one of those things where, I know who these businesses are now because they advertise with YSN. So, it's pretty special.
We had a sale of a business that went up 25% before he sold it to when he sold it because he advertised on YSN.
It's perfect.
Speaking of you being a part of YSN, my friend, you also kind of put your resume and were accepted a little earlier this year to be something different this winter. Talk to us about that.
A little something extra. I decided to be a part of the Boardman girls basketball coaching staff once again. I took a 2-year hiatus, and I thought maybe sitting back watching Mackenzie in the stands was going to be healthy for me, but it turned out it just gave me more heartache and pain. And I want to be part of the solution, and I want to be part of building the program back up to where it once was, and to have a mentor and one of my best friends in Jeff Hammerton being the head coach and having the all-time guy in Boardman basketball, girls basketball history, and Ron Michella coming back is it's just special that I get to learn and grow, sitting on the bench with these guys, and these kids have no idea how much we love them and how much we're gonna do our part in providing them the best possible game plan for every game. And, they're going to learn a lot about life with us too.
I like hearing that because there's nobody that wants these kids to be professional athletes more than I do, but that is a 1% at best opportunity. So teaching them about life at this stage is so important, so imperative.
Yeah, it really is. And we have such a great core group of kids that have bought into us already. And honestly, it's just going to be a lot of fun. We just do so many things, and we spend so much money on them because they deserve it. And we have something that's very unique that a lot of schools don't do. And we have this Thanksgiving. It's the day before Thanksgiving. We have a practice. At the end of the practice, we have a Thanksgiving feast, because we can't just assume that everybody has Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Yes, sir.
So just getting these girls together and their families. We invite all their families. We provide, the main parts of the Thanksgiving dinner, and then the families bring their favorite dishes for Thanksgiving, and we invite administration and we invite the boys coaching staff and everything else. It's just one of those things where it's just a bonding thing. Like we really want to be a family. And just to do something like that and to see the pure joy of these kids sitting together, it's like you're sitting at a family dinner for Thanksgiving, and it's pretty unique and a lot of fun. And we do a lot of other quirky stuff like escape rooms and stuff like that where we get them all together and do some team bonding. But, those things like that are more important than anything. And wins and losses, they are what they are, and you get judged by that a lot. But what these girls are going to be moving on into life after that. As long as we can teach them something positive, that's what it's about.
Donnie, your family has been so instrumental of being part of the culture change here at Boardman over the last few years. Talk about what the lift that it's taken to not necessarily change everything for the better, but take better and make it great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it really starts with my wife. My wife's a teacher at the school, and she has a tough task with her caseload and everything, but she's so positive, and those students love her so much, and she will do anything for them. And just to have her positive influence throughout the school. And then my kids, they were taught very early on that you have to make sure that you are nice to every single person you come in contact with. You be everybody's friend. You help them anytime you can. That type of stuff's so important to us as a family, and their success is a direct reflection of that because they work so hard. And I have a daughter that's at Pitt right now. We talked about it earlier that ended up getting the Chancellor Scholarship at Pitt, which is a full ride, room and board, everything. And I joke about it. I paid $125, and that's because I had to pay for all of her sporting events for the year for her to go to the University of Pittsburgh. So, and that all paid for itself in the very first game with the backyard brawl
That's
against
amazing.
West Virginia. But then you have a girl like Mackenzie who's very compassionate. We don't take teacher conferences and open houses. We don't take that stuff for granted. Just because our kids are successful, we still want to know how our kids are doing, what we can do at home to help them out and everything else. And just the feedback I always get on Mackenzie is it's unbelievable because she's so compassionate and she's always helping somebody out. And it's just great because I know she's going to be extremely successful in life because of it. And then my son Alan, I mean, he's a handful right now. He's 9. He says the darndest things. But again, he's just such a great kid. He's very positive, and people, they don't mind being around him, so that's awesome. And honestly, I'll do anything I can to help this community, help this school. Richie asked me earlier if I was on the committee for this. I'm not.
Right.
I just know that whenever you want to do something right, you take ownership in it, even though you may not be part of it.
Yep.
And they really appreciate that here. Dave Pavlansky, Rick Seiper, John Phillips, everybody that's put this thing together, I will help through and through because of the people that they are.
So there's also something that's very impressive that you are a big part of, and that is the and you're gonna have to forgive me because I don't remember the name of it, but it was for the teachers.
Yeah.
This event was unbelievable.
Yeah. So it was called the Boardman Schools Fund for Educational Excellence.
See why I couldn't remember.
Yeah, BSFE for short. And we provide teacher grants.
Yeah.
Something that goes above and beyond what the teachers are able to do, what the school is able to provide for them for their classroom. So we've had a lot of really creative and innovative teachers present to us, and they've gotten a lot of really cool things. But one of the best fundraisers ever is having the BSFE reverse raffle, which is the 10th of March 2023. And it's one of those things where it's grown every single year. And I kind of took it on. When they brought me on board, they said, "Hey, we don't have a fundraiser. Can you create one?" And I thought that was such a huge task, but I took it, I ran with it, and it's been nothing but success ever since. And we really, it's all about the teachers, and then ultimately it's all about the students, because those students are going to benefit from what we're able to do with those teachers. And that's where it's at. I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, the dinner's great.
Oh, yeah.
The prizes are great. We have wine toss. Next year we're gonna have a bourbon toss. You know, in addition to wine. So
now Richie's excited.
yeah,
Richie's coming with me next year. I'm buying a whole table for my crew.
Yeah,
that left a lasting impression on me that I'll never forget.
Yeah, it's pretty special. One of the really cool things that we do, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, because it is a reverse raffle, so anybody can win it, and anybody can win the Chinese auction. Anybody can outbid in the silent auction. Anybody can toss and win a bottle of wine, a bottle of bourbon, but there's no guarantee for a teacher. So one of the really cool things that we do that I always wanted to do something better every year. And I talked to my wife and I said, hey, you know, we waste money on sillier things. Let's give $1,000 to a teacher that day. You know, it's pretty awesome that we're able to do that. And then people catch on and they're like, oh, we heard what you did. We want to match it. You know, and then before you know it, there's 5 or 6 teachers getting $1,000, which 500 of it was straight cash. They could do whatever they wanted. And the other 500 was a grant for their classroom.
That's amazing.
So it was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up our first ever cross country meet, Tony Riccatelli, and you are the architect behind all of this. What can we do next year to kind of make this bigger and better for you?
I mean, honestly, you guys have done so much already. You know, I understand, like, the wheels are turning. The wheels are, you know, for next year. You think maybe a couple extra spots and stuff, but the coverage that you guys have been able to provide today is more than what we could ever ask for an event like this.
We appreciate you allowing us coming in, and here you got the finisher, the winner. Boom.
Yeah.
Richie got.
All right, DJ, I gotta go do my last deed of the day.
Go do it, man.
All right, buddy. Enjoy
We'll
the
up.
steak hoagies
I was gonna
and the
say,
elephant ears.
I'll see you at the steak hoagie
Yeah,
stand.
buddy, for sure. All right, Richie.
There
Thank
he
you,
is,
man.
Donnie Riccatelli, the man, the myth, my hero, my personal legend, and the guy that got us here. So thank you very much, my friend.
No problem, buddy. Anytime. I appreciate you.
Right. Rich, what are you seeing out your way?
Well, they're starting to wrap up a little bit. I think the girls here in Division II are doing a great job of finishing strong. You don't see a lot of walkers like we saw the majority of the day. So trying to finish out this last race on a high note. And right now as the final kind of group comes through here at the 1K turn. They're all jogging. They're all standing on the track. So that's a good time to finish off. We got a lot of walkers. Let's say that.
We just saw a great finish. It was a race to the finish line, and you could say that was probably a photo finish at the end. Here's something I'm going to throw out there. I think the girls have shown a little more gumption today than the boys.
I'm actually going to agree with you on that statement.
Like, the finishes we've seen from the girls, they are just hustling. There's no slowing down. There's no anything.
There's been more grabbing and pulling on the girls' side than there is actually on the boys. You know, I did overhear one thing when I was on our break, DJ, and it was one of the schools coming up to this big hill here, and they're saying, "Oh, this isn't that bad. This isn't bad at all." And I see them now in live action the second time around, and they're really struggling to get up the hill. So, you know, it's kind of funny to see that everybody's having some trouble with this climb.
It's like going up to a roller coaster and saying, "Oh, I can do that." Then you get to it and you're like, "Oh no, that's too much."
Also, next year, what would it take for us to get on one of these four-wheelers and shoot out of the back of that?
I don't think that's a bad idea, if I'm being honest with you.
Because you got the first place finishers in the front. So
Yeah, you're following the race the entire way.
Yeah.
That's the pace car. I like it. That's a great idea, Rich.
I don't know how you would like latch on to that, but I feel like it'd be fun.
I think Quinn's got to be the first volunteer, right?
Or we could Connie Riccatelli's truck and drive that around the course.
We could always get Anthony to come out. Just pin him to the back of the four-wheeler. Right? I mean, he'd be a great candidate for it.
Long day it's been, huh?
Some great finishes here. We've got a South Range runner that crossed it, but she's hurting.
You know, I should have asked Donnie while he was on why they have that purple carpet. Wonder what Quinn's seeing now.
And the final countdown plays, man. How appropriate is this? It's like this guy's done it before. Hey, Rich. It's the final countdown.
That's really the only negative thing about this spot. I've seen so much because they go on both sides and up this tall hill. But, you know, right now around this time, there's really not much going on. Wonder if Twins fried yet or not.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Yeah, he's sitting at the back of that bed eating a funnel cake right now.
Are you going funnel cake or elephant ear?
I feel like I got to get some food in me.
Steak hoagie.
Are they still open?
Sure looks like it.
Better be. Richie J's coming into town. About to smash a hoagie here. All right, so the last two DJ are about to cross me. This is the 1K turn, so probably in a couple more minutes until the last two officially cross. But the majority of them, I think, are finished.
We'll give a full screen to the finish line then. There it is. Maybe. There we go. Even at the end, they're still working hard to cross that finish line. Certainly a point of pride is getting that finish line, crossing it, and finishing something you started. I have been incredibly humbled and motivated by these cross-country athletes today, and I'm so excited to add another layer to what we do here at YSN and welcome cross-country fans and cross-country enthusiasts, and of course the student athletes that do it, to the YSN family. So we get the last few finishers coming around the bend. I want to say thank you to the co-owner of YSN, Mr. Brian Scott, for allowing this to occur. I want to thank Donnie Riccatelli for making the phone call and saying, hey, I've got an idea. I want to thank certainly Quinn Pushkar, Richie Giuliano for coming out the entire day today, as we know we got another few hours ahead of us as we head over to Valley Christian and Lisbon for a very special presentation of that game. And I want to thank the entire administration here at Boardman High School and all of the YSN schools that took part in this to make it very special, hopefully for you at home, but certainly for us at the network. As the last finishers looked across, we will bid you adieu here on YSN on another groundbreaking day here at the network. Our first ever cross-country meet, the 2022 Boardman Spartan Invitational, comes to a close after a very successful run, no pun intended. I'm DJ Yoakley. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. God bless you, and we will see you next time on YSN. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.